Scott.
After a 2-month hiatus.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm Scott.
Mitch.
Grant.
Tim.
Picks wanking today.
We're back at it.
Yeah.
After a long break.
The band's back together again.
That's all the last of us.
So, we want to get a little personal today.
Oh, no.
Yes. I want to know about Mitch.
Oh, God. Who's asking? I'm a citizen, I promise.
It was funny because I was in your homeland a couple weeks ago, and we did tease about me stopping by your mom's house, but I thought it would be super weird to have her answer the door and be like, "Hey, you watch me sometimes on YouTube."
Would you like to be real life friends?
Yeah, it would have been a little awkward.
In all honesty, she would have opened the door.
I'm sure she would have. I'm sorry.
She seems nice enough that she would have been like, "Oh, I knew you were coming by. Here's the first batch of cookies."
Yeah.
Do you want to say something offensive?
I had something on the tip of my tongue. In my mouth and shut.
So, Mitch, where do you come from? Where do you hail from?
Serbia.
That's where I was.
Well, yeah. So, do we want to mention like why we were out for so long too, or just like gloss over?
Oh no. We can mention. I don't know. Why were we out? Why were you out? Where were you at?
Like we were working on animations, and we were, and some of us were overseas, and doing some business trips, which was awesome. So that's one of the reasons why we were off for a bit, and also Tim is kind of like the person who gets things done. So when he's gone, we all just sit and play.
Guys, I can't leave for 3 weeks and nothing gets done. That's
Apart
not true.
from Wick climbing all over my desk.
But yeah, so let's get into. Mitch.
All right.
You're born a poor black child in Serbia.
Let's get into Mitch.
Not like the other night.
Yeah, so West United Kingdom, born and raised on the playground.
We need to record the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song with you. I need to try to act all hard.
What do you mean try?
Yeah, so I come from Taplow in England, which is right outside of London area-ish. Just spent most of my life there. Believe it or not.
And then one day you're like, America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he wants some opportunity. He's like, opportunity. Yeah.
No,
let's try it.
You know what it was? Is they built McDonald's over there, and you're like, I could use some freedom.
some freedom fries.
That's
freedom
right.
fries. My backstory isn't as glamorous as that, but like,
it's all 40s and hoes.
As glamorous as McDonald's changing you.
God, we're gonna get through your story at some point.
Yeah, I know,
This
right?
might not be the day to do the episode. We're gonna be all giggly because we're like, "Oh, we're back."
So I work for TML in the British division, and
You're the whole British division.
yeah.
So far, we've got
Alright.
half and half bullshit.
No, that last part was right.
So, in all seriousness, I worked at a video game store, living the teenager's dream of selling video games to shitheads. And one day the store was going to get closed because that's just the way it goes. And
Mitch is a really good employee.
yeah.
That's why they're closing their doors.
And so I was sort of at a dead end, and I was like, and a few years previous to that, my dad had moved out to Utah, and he was like, hey, why don't you come live with me for a while? And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I'll go to school and see what I can do here. And I knew like there's a lot more opportunity here for my kind of field that I'm into, like animation and stuff. Because in England it's like, yeah, there's studios, and I know you've met like a lot of studios in Ireland and stuff, but like the big names and the things that I've grown up around and my influences are all in the States. And I was always like, like Pixar seems a million miles away when I'm in England, but Pixar's like 12 hours away when I'm here by car, 2 hours away by plane. And it's like there's no excuse for me not to push myself further and like like progress my own skills and things like that. And I had no idea how to animate. You know, I doodled for fun, like just sketching and stuff. And so when I finally made that huge decision to jump on the plane and fly over, which was like I was like this the whole flight. I was like, oh god, what am I doing?
How old were you?
That was probably 6 years ago, so I was 21.
He was the young buck.
Yeah.
He could
Fresh
barely
faced.
drink over here.
Pimply
Luckily.
faced. Yeah.
But he's been drinking since he was 6 over there.
Yeah.
That's how it works over there.
We
Everywhere
drink like we
I
don't
went
want to live, dude.
Everywhere I went, they're like tea, coffee, whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, every meeting? Seriously?
Yeah.
I know.
So I was just like, yeah, this is kind of cool. So I went to Slick, Salt Lake Community College, and it was crazy. They were like, what major do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. What electives do you want to do? I don't even know what elective is. Like, what credit hours? I don't know. Because I'm used to the English schooling system, so I was just like, whatever, this sounds good. And I picked the animation degree because it was the one that, it was the degree that transfers if you needed it at a later date. I thought that's kind of cool. And I was like crazy nervous. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be any good at this. And I just gave it my best shot, and I got my degree from Slick, and I'm now at the U finishing up my other 2 years of my bachelor's, and it's been really weird and exciting and fun, and I couldn't recommend it enough for anyone who has the opportunity to do something like this, like to just like have this crazy life-changing just up sticks and move, and just like it's just insane. But the people you meet along the way, and the experiences you have, and the crazy opportunities you get, just like it's just unreal. I've like written a children's book. I starred in like as an extra in some World War II films. I've been on animation projects. Yeah, believe it or not, like all in the time I've been here, like crazy. Like
You move to America, you just get to be in a movie.
yeah.
That's how it works.
Anybody
Cheeseburgers on trees.
Yeah. And there's a ton of stories, and it just like it's been really cool. But like the other thing, it's tough. Like you have to leave behind your family and friends and your possessions, and that was really hard for me to like just be like, you know what, guys, like you are my best friends from my childhood, and I'll always be your best friend, but it's going to be different now. Like I'll only see you once a year, and it's tough, but.
They were happier once they got your possessions, though, right?
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, thanks for your boombox. See you
Funny
later,
to
Mitch."
say that, but that is true.
90s.
Scott's from the 90s.
Still with it.
Yeah. I have to go back next week.
Midway.
But yeah, it's just it's crazy, but it's fun. And the great thing is, like, every time I go back, everyone just treats it like I've only been gone for like 2 weeks. They all still like, we all just get back into the niche of just being friends and just hang out, and it's really cool, like, to be able to do that, and but yeah, I mean that's why I'm here. Like, if any of you ever wondered,
That's why
I always wondered why you exist.
yeah. But also, like, I was really lucky enough when I was born. My parents got me registered with the American Embassy in London, so that's why I've got 2 passports, 2 birth certificates.
Oh, cool.
So just in case in the future, if I ever wanted to move to America, it was just as easy as hopping on a plane rather than green cards and visas and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's how I got here. I mean, what else do you guys want to know? Like,
What you said that you're going to school. So what's the long-term goal? What's the dream job?
oh man, I love animation. Like, it's not even like character design for me, or even like drawing. It's just animating. I just love bringing things to life, and I really love stop motion animation and just being creative and hands-on. I guess if we're talking about like dream studios, it would be like character animation somewhere like Leica,
shit, he's gonna leave me.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you know, I want to sort of tout the studio a little bit. Is it is unbelievably tough to get into anywhere. Like it's so cutthroat and so like just difficult just to even pitch yourself. You have to have so much confidence and so much personal talent and skill. Like you can't even just rely on your own portfolio. You have to get out there and show your face and stuff. Yeah. So to even be a part of projects just as like contracted animation, like is just unbelievable. And it's been, I mean, this is exactly where I want to be. Like just using my degree for something and earning money for something that I, you know, that is my own talent rather than just, you know, paid labor. You know, like in retail and stuff. And so like, yeah, it's just it's like for any student out there that is just really struggling with, you know, getting their portfolio together and just applying for places, just keep at it. Just intern, just do what you can, and you know, just have confidence in yourself and your abilities that you know you can achieve what you want and get where you want to be. But
I think that's one of the things that like people should also know about you though is like you have to be willing to do like the crappy amounts of work.
Yeah.
and like
don't be scared of working for free because you will do that for a lot. And,
Yeah.
and you can attest to that. And
Well, and
everyone can.
Yeah, but you're one of the guys that like, dude, you're just head down and you just go to work. Like, and like that really like speaks to like the type of character you are, and you know you're giving some advice to like potential students. Like that's one of the things they should know, not just about you, but like if you want to go anywhere, you have to build that reputation. Like I haven't like been able to sing your praises enough to Tim about while he was gone and all the animation we did, but
you're gonna make him blush.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, that's true, but that's also true in like, you know, in your field where you're doing comic books and illustration. Like you have to be prepared to.
You know what that was? That was a deflection. Yeah, no, but you're the one.
Well,
just
no,
that,
but I think it's actually like honestly, it's art in general. Like, and tell me how many people have done this to you when you tell them like, oh yeah, I'm a professional artist, because we're all professional artists, you know, and it's like, how many times have people said this to you, been like, oh, you get to do art? That must be really amazing. That's probably like a really great thing, and like almost like eases off like, oh, that's fun. You get to do that. We all do regular work. It's like, F you, you know, we work hard, you know, like art is like a passion, you know. I mean, you have to like give it your all, put everything into it, you know, like getting your portfolio together, like you were saying, it's really important, and even like little things where you feel like crap because you know your stuff's not up to par of everyone else's. It's like you can't let that stuff get you down because you have to get together. Everyone was a student at one point. Everyone was like starting out and trying to get their stuff together, and it's like. Art is like not something that comes easy, like everyone ever imagines. Like, oh, you get to do art, that's so cool. You get to draw whatever you want. It's like, no, I don't get to draw whatever I want. I draw what everyone else hopefully wants, and maybe make some money on it.
There's that stigma of like, oh, you're getting an art degree? Oh, good luck working in Starbucks. You know, that sort of opinion of like, oh, well, it's not worth the paper it's written on.
Yeah.
But it is. But it's tough. You really got to push for it. You really got to like, you know. Push yourself, push your abilities. Just keep improving your own self-worth and your own talent. Like you just gotta. It's just all practice. One of our favorite teachers from Slick has always said like 10,000 hours. You have to put in 10,000 hours before you're an expert at something. Or skilled at something. I think.
I'm almost at my 10,000 hours of my sex trade.
We weren't even talking about his mom. How did you?
I was gonna say it changes when you go from animal to human though.
Oh no, I'm only 4,000 hours in, guys.
But yeah, like it seriously takes that amount of time to even be considered a professional. Like you have to just put in the dedication and stick with it. Like there have been times where I've just been like, this is it, I'm done. This is as far as I go with this. Like there's not much further I can take this. And even with like other avenues in school, like you have to do a language for 2 years to get your bachelor's. I was like, you know what, like, I scraped by because I've forgotten all of Italian that I took. But the thing is like, if I was more focused on that, I can understand, like, I would have put more time and effort into it. But that's not where I'm aiming. That's not where I want to be. That was just for me a degree requirement. Like, so I would much rather like get rid of all that knowledge and absorb more of like 3D and animation, like that I can use, and be more skilled in that department than having to remember all the conjugation for the Italian verbs. Like, it's just not necessary for me. Like, and I've done that with a lot of classes in school. It's just sort of like, yeah, this is great, this is good knowledge, but this isn't where I want to be. And especially like the programming stuff is kind of relevant, but it's like, I'm not a programmer, an animator, you know? So this is where I sort of tailor my skills to that as well.
What's your favorite project you ever worked on?
Oh, I don't know. I have to think about it.
You maybe just had fun with it. Maybe it wasn't vastly successful to you, or maybe you had a blast on it.
Well, this would be a great segue to my video game, but it's yeah.
Go on.
I'll say so right now to finish up the degree, we have to publish a video game for the U's EAE program, which is like the entertainment program. And our one is called Dive Starpath, and so you play as an astronaut in space, and it's basically squirrel suit diving. Yeah. You're dodging asteroids and debris and things like that, collecting data canisters and oxygen to try and survive and get to the next waypoint. And there's a narrative in there and stuff like that. And I did all the animations by hand, which is kind of crazy because there is no like free asset pack of like 0G animations that you don't have to do yourself. And I did some of the modeling as well. So it will be on Steam on the 18th of March, I believe. And I think on the Windows Store on these.
And what was the name of it?
Dive, and then the subtitles Starpath.
Okay. Dive Starpath.
And check it out, support us, you know, give us that's just my little push there for that game. But I'll be promoting it more later on. But yeah, and also I'll be at GDC this year, which is March. Yeah,
okay.
March 16th to the 18th, something along those lines. It's in those team in March. But yeah, I'll be at GDC. So if any of you listeners happen to be there, I'll be there. And I'll take a bunch of pictures and put them on the website. So.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah, just a little segue there. But
no, that's awesome because that's exactly what you wanted to get into originally is animation for games.
Yeah,
you know? To actually be able to do that as a part of your degree is kind of an amazing thing to be able to do, and it allows you to understand working in teams, good or not, how to work with teams. Which is exactly how it is in the industry. I mean, and you know both sides, working in the studio and then working at school. It's like you get in with groups of people and you have to deal with whatever that group is.
Well, and I mean, this is me, so I don't want to come across as like big-headed or anything, but
go on.
There are some people like I've worked with in school, and they're like defensive, or they're like, you know, they kind of like get aggressive when you critique them. Or
no,
like,
we don't.
Yeah, that kind of that ego, and you gotta you gotta learn to just shoot your baby. If you don't like, no,
it's something I'm really good at.
If you're really proud of something, you gotta learn to take critique.
Yeah.
And you can't go through life with this chip on your shoulder, be like, you know what, F you guys, if you wanted this blue, here's blue, and just like scribble it all out. And it's not like, that's not the way to like, I don't know, that's just not good practice.
That's like one of the most telling things to me, like when I meet like a creative person, is like if they can't take a critique, like you can almost just forecast where they're going to be in 5 years. Because if you can't take critique, unless that changes, which unlikely, you can't take critique, somebody tells you can't take critique, you're not going to take that very well. But if that doesn't change, you're not going anywhere.
Well, you're not only growing, but like when I'm looking for artists, there's no way I'm going to bring somebody into a team that you can't be like, that looks a little off, and they get defensive. You're like, no, that looks off, you have to fix it. Like I'm not here to for you to cry about things. I'm here to tell you this is what you need to do, and if it doesn't look that way, you need to go back and do it. And egos get in the way, and it's funny because there's a lot of artists, especially when they start off, have huge egos, and it only hinders them. It only hinders them. Doesn't make you want to hire them. Doesn't make you want to work in groups with them. it's not beneficial to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a tough pill to swallow. Like
Yeah.
to put all this time and effort, and you think it's the greatest thing ever, and it's like, oh, it's not as good as like everyone thought it was. You know,
It's not up to snuff.
Yeah.
It's tough, but that's another thing. Like if you really want to sort of, you know, make a good impression with a studio that you're trying to impress, or a client that you're trying to impress, you know, just be aware that you know everyone's different and everyone has different likes and dislikes, and
Yeah.
if they don't like, you know, be defensive or aggressive over it, you just kind of have to be like, well, all right, I'll take your changes on board, and you know.
Yeah.
But
So what's like some of your like favorite movies and stuff? Since we're doing like a little bit of a profile of you, like what do you like that like maybe people would like also, or like maybe things that people haven't heard of that just like you like as an animator, or what do you think?
In terms of animation, like there's a ton of films. Like just
Buffy aside.
Buffy aside.
What were the ones, I think, is like a better question, what were the ones that made you say, no, I want to do that?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
influenced
yeah.
you growing up?
Good question.
When I was a kid, I had a VHS copy of Wallace and Gromit,
Oh my god.
and I played that thing till the tape wore out. Like,
Yeah.
I love Wallace and Gromit, and I think that kind of sparked my love for like just like being like just molding and creating things with my hands, because I love like I do like some steampunk props, and I do cosplay props and stuff in my spare time. So I just love like botching stuff together and painting it up, and model kits and all that kind of stuff. Like I've always loved that kind of stuff. So I think like that really sparked off like the idea that you can do that and animate at the same time. I grew up on the classic 90s like Cartoon Network stuff, like Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, but also a sprinkling of like Looney Tunes and like Tom and Jerry, like really old stuff, you know. And then really it was just, I've just always loved cartoons and animation. I've always thought it was really fun. But it wasn't until like I got to Salt Lake that I was, and doing the animation program, I really had an appreciation for it. Like until you sit down and start doing cell by cell, like it's like, oh my god, this is like this is crazy, you know. And then you get this new appreciation, because then you're watching old Looney Tunes cartoons and you're pausing it and you're like, look at that frame, like that's crazy, and look at those keys, and you see it in a different light. You also like, you can never watch a film again and not critique it, which sucks. And I've been doing that with video games as well recently, because I'm really into video games, which I'll get into in a minute. But I think the film that really pushed off, like, and it's a recent one, but really sparked my interest was Paranorman. Just the style, the colours, the asymmetry, the character design, the story's pretty good as well. Like just everything's just like there, you know, and visually and thematically, and I just love it, you know.
What studio did Paranorman?
Leica
did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my favourite of all theirs, and I just think everything is just fantastic. Like, it also kind of sparks like, I have a love for like Americana, like 1950s kind of Americana. You kind of get that vibe from it as well. But yeah, video games. So this is a whole nother side of me that like is pretty much taken over now, because I can't get enough of video games. But I started video games when I was about probably 7 or 8, and I remember watching my dad play like Doom and Tomb Raider, and I used to run and hide because it was just the scariest thing. Like I was like, oh my god! Like, but I just you know, I eventually started playing Tomb Raider and fell in love, and Tomb Raider 2 was the game that got me into games. And ever since then, I've just been an avid gamer. Like, some of the fondest memories I have is just sitting in my room with my 2 guys in England, Phil and Scott, and just playing games. And it's not even like we're playing the game. Like we're not like watching it. It's just on as background noise, and we're just riffing and talking, and it's just so relaxing, and it's just brilliant. Like just having that kind of that environment, and we're just, we're talking about like, oh man, we should make a zombie comic one day, and just stupid like kid stuff, just home from school. But we're, the game is a part of that. Like, I can't go back and play GameCube games without thinking of that time, and it doesn't matter what game it is. But also horror as well. I've always been into like horror. I think that's because my dad gave me a healthy dose of like Aliens and Predator when I was like 10, and and Doom of course, and so like horror's never really been. I've never been squeamish. It's just like I kind of love it, all that stuff, So you kind of mix all that in, and that's just kind of like a cross section of my personality,
Yeah.
You're awesome, Mitch.
Oh, you guys.
I think you're a pussy.
But yeah, I mean, what else do you guys want to know? Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird being grilled.
Well, I mean, we're going to be doing these little profiles for the audience to kind of like introduce them to who we are, and kind of give our perspective of our work on what we're talking about. So whatever we're talking about, that's kind of the perspective that we're giving. So, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was great. I mean,
cool.
It was good. It's good.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't bore you guys too much. Sorry, listeners. But next week we'll do Scott's depraved childhood.
First 13 years we're stuck in a box. Second 13 years they open the box, but they just whip me every day.
And now he's married to that whip.
No, that's the ball and chain.
That's how you got out. Here you go.
All right, well, onward and up to...
that was fun, guys.
good.
Thanks for listening to my
I liked
my life story.
It's good, and we didn't dig you too deep, so we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
embarrass you too
So
much.
tell me about all your ex-girlfriends you've ever had.
Oh, God. You didn't even bring up the fact that you had that little thing with guys for a minute.
I thought we were serious.
It's okay, we'll come out soon. Don't worry about it.
Cool. What's next? I'm looking at Steve.
Yeah, you guys looking at me?
Because someone posted something today that's worth talking about.
Okay.
Slightly topical, but also
It's
sort
slightly
of
topical.
important.
Yeah, we didn't post it the same day as the podcast, but we posted it the day we talked about it.
Well, so I woke up this morning, and how everybody is nowadays. You wake up, it's like, ooh, Facebook. Even though there's nothing good, like you don't really want to see anything. You
all
don't pay
douchebags on
attention to
vacation.
crap. You're just like, so that's today, huh? So today I wake up and like I see an article and it's talking about how I'd seen an article last night about the next Wolverine's going to be rated R.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool just came out and it's been a huge success and it's great and all that.
What's it going to be called? Is it just Wolverine or?
I don't know. Right now it's just
Old Man Logan.
Yeah, it'll probably be called Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I see an article that says that X-Force is going to be rated R as well, and I'm like, God damn it, Fox! Like, this is not the lesson to learn from the success of Deadpool. What you need to learn from Deadpool is find the people who understand what it is, and they love it for what it is, and they're going to find a way to bring that to the big screen. And they've never done that with the X-Men. And I've enjoyed some of the X-Men movies, but I've never been like, damn, that was an X-Men movie. And when I walk out of Deadpool, while it wasn't X-Men, Colossus was Colossus to me. I was like, that's Colossus, not that dude who's just like a ripped guy. He looks like Channing Tatum.
Magic Mike, get out of here!
And I think that really, like, when you focus on a rating, you're not thinking about what you're doing. You're like, how can we make this edgy, and how can we make it do this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you can do Wolverine slashing people, and you can do it really well rated R, but you haven't done it yet, and you're going to be isolating your crowd. Like, Deadpool makes more sense, like, as a rated R guy. And it's funny, though, because I see people being like, you could only do Deadpool rated R. And it's like, not really. You could have done a PG-13 and it still would have been good. But it's a little more like the gloves are off rated R.
Can you can say the F word only so many times though?
I think it's like twice.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Deadpool needs the F word. He's
No.
not dropping the F word in the comic books left and right.
No, and to be honest, not really much in the film. A few times.
Yeah, it's just more like the sex and stuff.
You know what's funny is like, is that what Deadpool's about? Because I talked to one of my friends and we were like, the nudity in Deadpool kind of seemed like didn't need to be there. And I kind of feel like I really hope that that's not just like the way you're saying, like where they're like, oh yeah, overnight this was a huge success. So all the like business guys get in a room, they're like Deadpool was a huge success. So now people are into like R-rated movies and like crass humor. So everything we do is going to be this. It's like people they go in the room and like, okay, everyone's into like water stuff now, so we're going to do only water things. And
Well, dude, that's how trends roll.
way.
That's exactly how trends roll. So, like the reason it was good was not only. Did I cut you off? Are you okay?
No.
Okay.
I just I made a joke that it's kind of an inside joke.
Alright,
But sorry.
No, but the reason they did good was not only because they got people that knew the story, knew the characters, they allowed them to embellish it completely. They didn't stand in their way. Yeah. That's why it did good, because X-Men had people that understood characters. X-Men had people that understood story. But the issue was they had executives, they had other people on top saying, no, you have to do this now. Now you have to do this. Yeah. And all of that, all the filter was pulled. And that's why Deadpool did really well. Yeah. And that's what they're missing when they're coming out with this, saying, hey, Wolverine's going to be rated R. There's no point for it.
Well, and here's a couple other sides of the coin, because I actually mentioned this to some of my friends.
The coin only has two sides, dude.
This is the fourth side of the coin.
This is toast on all sides.
Wait, this dice isn't a coin? So, no, I was talking to my friend, and he was saying about the subject when you had posted on Facebook, and he's like, well, what about Wolverine? The movie Wolverine, I don't know if there's a subtitle to it, but it's called Wolverine. He said the rated R version of that was actually a lot better. Did you guys ever seen the rated R version of it?
No, I haven't seen it.
He said that actually made that one better overall. The fight scenes were a little keyed up. It was more towards the violence. It wasn't necessarily like a Deadpool type thing. And then he's also saying that X-Force is... Again, I don't know a lot about the comics, but it's more edgy anyways. Right?
X-Force is more edgy, but the thing is, it's Black Ops edgy. Mm-hmm. So, do you have to show people getting their heads cut off to make it edgy in Black Ops? No. If you can do Jason Bourne and like have that be like your Black Ops, or even like think about how Civil War was, or not Civil War, Winter Soldier.
How was Civil War?
Winter Soldier was a bit darker. It was gritty, and it was like an espionage style movie. Yeah. Like you can do these things without being like, we're gonna give it an R rating. Like, does the opportunity to make Wolverine an R movie seem like it could be good? Yeah, well, Wolverine seems like a guy who would fit in that rated R bubble, but when you set out to be like, okay, well, we're going rated R because Deadpool was good, and it's not like we're thinking that the executives are like, oh, well, maybe this will work. They're like, oh yeah, Deadpool did it, let's do it! It's like, it's not a decision from the heart, it's a decision like, well, this is going to make us money because we're going to be edgier now. And
it's not even from the heart, it's not a decision from, is this going to make the story better? And that's the only thing that you should think about when you're making a film, is does this make the story better? And if it being rated R, so you can have all those aspects that make story better in there, yeah, make it rated R. But if it doesn't make the story better, there's no point to focus on a rating. You focus on the story, and whatever it comes out to, that's what it needs to be to have your story correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think like Deadpool is the perfect adolescent movie for teenagers to sneak into the theater and watch. But so are the comics. Mm. They're the perfect comics that you can kind of sneak and read, and like, I think like it didn't necessarily like everyone kind of was like, oh my god, it got an R rating, like, but it's, I don't know. I mean, they changed Spider-Man, like back to Spider-Man, what a surprise. But when Spider-Man came out, they changed the rating because they figured kids would want to go see it, so they made it, at least in England, they made a specific rating, like it just invented one specifically for their film so kids could go see it with parents.
The Spider-Man rating.
Well, in England it's 12, 15, 18 and PG, which is like parental guidance.
Yeah.
And then they made a 12A, which is like 12-year-olds or under with adult supervision.
Oh.
But that was literally created because of Spider-Man, and it's like they didn't tailor Spider-Man to the rating, the ratings tailored themselves to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, looking at the American rating system, and everyone admits that it's kind of flawed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think there should be something in between?
Well, that's
Like
why
PG-13
PG-13 exists.
Because it
now,
was
is
PG and then
because-
PG-13. But PG,
No, it was,
right?
It was
13.
PG and R is what.
Yeah,
it
and then
was.
they created PG-13 because
Yes.
they wanted something in between there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're 13 to when you're like 17,
Yeah.
that's a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree that maybe there should be like a PG-15. Like,
But the problem with the American rating system is like
No one
there's
follows it anyway.
no one follows it.
I had
And-
5-year-olds in my Deadpool showing. I couldn't believe it.
It's Deadpool. You need your
Yeah.
5-year-olds. There's no specifics on why it's rated certain things. I mean, there is
Yeah.
some things like you can only say fuck once in a PG-13 movie. You
Yeah.
can, like that sort of stuff. But there's a lot of just kind of ambiguous things that you can look at
Yeah.
to make it R, PG-13, or PG. And since there's no specific things you have to follow, like we have such a weird, flawed system that goes off of how people are feeling that day when they review your stuff. And it's
The way that movies
ridiculous.
are actually rated, like Planes, Trains, Automobiles. What is it rated? R. It's rated R because he flips out in the little kiosk with the lady who's renting the car. He's like, fuck, fuck, fuck. Like, he says like that like 15 times. And that's why they give it an R. Otherwise, what's offensive about that? When John Candy in his underwear? Like, let's be real.
Airplane's PG and there's titties.
Yeah. Like, here's another weird
And
thing.
rape jokes.
So, so
racist.
so Zack and Miri, like that naked porno, that movie was supposed to be NC-17, and they had to like fight to get it to be R.
Yeah.
And why was it like rated NC-17? Like I was watching the behind the scenes that Kevin Smith was saying. He's like, they literally wanted me to take like a couple of jiggles of the girl like on top, like writhing, like he's like she jiggled too much, and so they wanted to cut it earlier. And they wanted to cut this, and it's like it was all this like backwards dumb shit like that doesn't have anything to do with like realistically. That's not changing anyone's opinion. Like putting it in NC-17 makes it a totally different movie and puts it in a totally different category.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's freaking out about Deadpool, is because it's a rated R movie that made a lot of money. It's the #1 rated R movie
Of all time
Of all
after
time.
one weekend.
Yeah. And so that's why everyone's freaked out, because like we can make money on movies that actually can do whatever we want necessarily. But even then, you can't do what you want because people are going to put you in NC-17, which is like,
it's death.
No,
for
it's
you.
death for a movie. Yeah, and that's one reason why he was like, I have to get this down to an R because I can't put it in NC-17.
Yeah.
People will not go and see it.
Yeah.
Well, and it also... sorry, I didn't...
I was just going to say Orgasmo was going to be an NC-17 movie, but they actually showed that in theaters, and they cut that down.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the next question. This might be ridiculous, but I'm going to go there.
it sounds right.
Are you about to jump the shark?
Do you guys think they're ever going to make a superhero movie that's rated NC-17?
They have, but it's normally a porn movie.
Yeah.
Orgasmo 2.
Electric.
Technically, he's a superhero, I suppose.
He was.
He's got a sex ray, but...
No, it's no Gasmo Raider. Go watch the film, man.
But,
well, it also goes back to like, if you really delve into the rating system, like, and it is more true in America than it is in European countries, but they don't really care about the swearing and the violence so much. But the minute you have anything to do with sex, the rating just skyrockets.
Yeah, US is very backwards in that. 'Cause
And
even European
we're so
countries,
weird.
It's fine.
Yeah, and yet in like, I know for a fact in England, but also in European countries, they'll have like full-on sex scenes, and it'll only be rated 15.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they don't
wish.
like.
Well, it's weird, especially
15-year-olds still love
Yeah, oh yeah, it's got the 90s.
here in Utah. It's like even weirder the way sex is treated, and I think it gives us like a ton of sexual like delinquent people.
Yeah.
Well, like I was saying, Zack and Miri was banned here. Like,
Yeah.
like Larry H. Miller banned it in all their
It's
in all their
ridiculous.
theaters. It's like, why?
It's 'cause we have a
Zack and Miri
weird
naked porno. Like
Cultural thing going on, not only in Utah but in the US, is we've built a culture where that's frowned on. You
Think
know
of
what
the
I mean?
children.
I know, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. It's the Think of the
But
Children
it's-
campaign, but it doesn't make any sense
it doesn't.
when it comes to like developing as a person, developing as a child, whatever. Like, and I can speak to Utah especially, is because like you're raised and you're told not to do all these different things, and so you're set to the other side of the extreme. That when you finally get to a point where, I can drink, or I can have sex, or I can do whatever, you know what I mean?
Or do all three.
Yeah, at the same time, and then you go to Vegas. No, and then you go to the other side of the spectrum, and it's like one extreme to the other extreme, and people aren't taught that things are okay, so they grow up a decent human being.
Yep.
I mean,
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because Ange was looking up some legislation for her friend that's a school teacher, and it was like, this is the Utah guidelines, or the Utah legislation, about if you want to teach sex in schools, and it's one page.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
Sounds
pretty
right.
much. And it was like don't talk about it in terms of enjoyment. Don't talk about any other method of contraception.
Who's going to go into a classroom of like 6 years and be like, you know what? Sex is so great, guys. You don't know what you're missing.
But the way it talked about it, it was like, don't even mention it exists. Like, it was pretty much like, if you say these things, you're in some real trouble. Like,
y'all came around by osmosis. You didn't.
Yeah.
We're all
you
sex.
couldn't even talk about it outside of marriage. You had to be married to have sex. It was like one of the rules. And it's like, that's like crazy. Like,
It's not
how?
realistic.
No, it's not.
It's got to change. Like I know of a story where a teacher was like approached by a girl who she was having sex, and the guy's like, "Look, I can't say anything. All I'm going to say is use protection and be safe."
Yeah.
He got fired.
Oh my god. Yeah, this.
That is like an extreme. That's exactly what he should say. He's not
Yeah,
like, "How big are them titties?"
They're worth it. They're worth it, man.
Like,
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you like how like jacked like the culture is here. Like as soon as you see a tit, it's like, oh. Like I even think about it. I just cited Airplane. I was like, it's got boobies. Should be worse. No, how about
And
we
my
just
face like this.
we should understand like the human form and what it's for, and like it's funny that there's that whole movement going on with like breastfeeding should be chill in public. It's like it should be. It shouldn't be a big deal. But for some reason we've over-sexualized boobs, and now they can't even be used for what they're used for, when our boobs, the man boob, should be the one that's like hidden. Like, why can we take our shirt off when it's got no function?
Mind function.
Have you seen the cartoon of the cow that's feeding its calf and it's got a blanket over it? The others, you know?
That's awesome.
We really live in like a really weird, warped, backwards like
Yeah,
society.
we really do, and it's not necessarily just to say that it's America. It's a lot of the world. Like we glorify, we push and censor sex, but then we don't, because we make everything else sexy. Gene commercials, try and make themselves like sexy. Everything. Car commercials try and make. Yeah, they all try and be.
Junior's like softcore porn. They're just like, oh, that burger. Girls like gagging on the burger.
No, I can get in.
But do you think it's playing on like,
Damn it.
they're playing on people's like ideas of like temptation, like they're sort of like they're trying to tempt.
That's
it's
the
not,
thing. Then it gives you like this
taboo.
unreal sense of like sexuality. Freaking crow. But then we glorify like violence and alcohol and all these other things.
Yeah,
and it's like what? Like, I mean, those are just as dangerous,
But
things.
it is
like,
something that's specific to the U.S. because, like Mitch is saying, like you go overseas and sex isn't as big of a deal. Nudity is not as big of a deal, but extreme violence is a big deal.
Yeah.
They don't want to show people chopping each other's heads off. Where here we're like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, why is an act
You know
of
what I mean?
love like sex? Because a lot of times it is
I
that.
thought you were going to say the act of love was chopping someone's head off.
Of course you thought that.
No, it's like why is that more extreme than Saw? Like that's crazy.
It's totally what it is, and it isn't just like the two cultures, the European culture and the culture here. I mean, you go to cultures all over the U.S. or all over the world, and varying things are extremes, right? And varying things are okay. Like Japan does some things that we're like, holy hell, we're never going to put that on TV, but it's fine there. You know, and it's just accepted.
Yeah.
But that's the culture there, and it's because people are raised with these different things that are okay and not okay. But I agree that we in the U.S. do have a really backwards view on sexuality and nudity and that, and even like violence. We have a super backwards view, and I'm okay with like almost everything in violence, but it's because I've been raised in a place that violence is okay. It's fine.
Utah.
Utah, where we just beat things senseless. No, but that's how we are in the United States. Where I was over in the UK, it's completely opposite of that.
Yeah.
And we're both semi-civilized.
Well, let's get back to let's bring it back around to like media though. Like so, like everyone's been saying this for years. Oh, games are making us crazy and like.
But that's some bullshit.
But it's like Grand Theft Auto. Is there anything wrong with Grand Theft Auto for a standard normal person who's fine? Like,
what's a standard normal person?
Yeah.
Anyone who can understand that they're playing a game is a standard person. If they totally don't know that they're playing a game, then it might be something maybe too much for that person. But that's for them to decide, not for me. You know what I mean? Like.
See, I am a huge fan of Grand Theft Auto because I do like driving around in a car and getting out and just knocking somebody out because that's like a great stress reliever. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't care if it's a hooker. I don't care if it's a dude or a woman or whatever it is. Right? It's a game. Yeah. It's a game. You get out and you mow down just a bunch of people in public. You go do a thing. You fly a plane. You jump out and kill yourself. It's fine.
Now
it's
you can never
game.
be president.
It's a skate.
Now I can never be president.
You just said that on camera.
I was really going to go up with that story.
Well, and the other thing, like everyone always says, "Oh my God, you can hire a prostitute and then kill him." You can.
How else are you going to get your money back?
Yeah. You can.
It's pure capitalism.
But it's player choice.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily programmed specifically like it's part of the. You can't do anything else but this.
That's level one.
No. Like it's the whole point of GTA is it's open world. It's free roam. You can do whatever
it
you
is
like.
what you make of it. It's exactly what it is.
It's player choice. If that's what that player wants to do, then you should look at that player, not the game itself. That's what they're choosing to do. Like
total side thing that I just took from that. They should totally make it so you could be a cop or a vigilante in that.
Yeah,
like chase down.
Well, in San Andreas, you could get in a cop car and do like vigilante missions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
great.
There was a game that came out not too long ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was essentially cops and robbers, where you could either be a cop chasing down people.
Was that the Battlefront?
That was
a Battlefield?
Yeah,
it wasn't a Battlefront game. It was in the city.
Oh, it was like free, like
yeah, it was
sandbox.
Yeah, it was like a sandbox game where you could be either a robber and get a group and go rob a bank, or you could be cops and like stake out a place.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could hire a hooker in that too if you could.
Well, let me ask you another question. So, what do you guys think about like The Purge, like those movies? I've never seen one,
I saw the
but I was
first one
watching
and
the
it's
trailer
so
for
bad.
it.
Did I watch it with you?
No, I didn't watch it.
I watched the trailer during Deadpool. I've never seen any Purge movie, and I turned to my buddy and I was like, "This is garbage." It almost infuriates me a bit because it's so stupid and people do take some of that seriously, and it's like, but I don't want movies to be censored. I want people to be able to have like a stronger understanding of themselves and what they're watching and enjoy what they want. But in the same regards, it's like, do we need that movie? Does that story need to be told?
Well, what you're asking is like, so you want people to have this higher understanding, and so you're asking for education. But the problem is we're withholding the education and the well-rounded upbringing. We're telling every single kid that they're a special like snowflake, and they should never look at a naked body until they're married. And so they have like this weird delusional idea of what the world is. So then when they go in and see movies like The Purge, then they're like, yeah, maybe we should have a Purge night. You've got these fucking idiots who like haven't been able to distinguish because they haven't been taught right, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't remember what I was reading, but there was this kid who was getting bullied, and the mom and dad went over to like the bully's house, and they were like talking to the parents, like, our kid wouldn't do that. And then the kid ends up killing himself a little while later.
The bully or the
kid who was bullied.
Okay.
And it's like, because we have his parents who are fucking idiots nowadays, that they don't inform their kids, they don't look at their kids like they can ever do anything wrong, because they were raised thinking that they were that special snowflake, and now they've got a second generational asshole snowflake.
That's exactly right.
Second
generational snowflake. No, but that's exactly right. We have a really funny thing. When I was working medical simulation, we had students coming in to be nurses and doctors and stuff like that, dealing with these robotic mannequins, right? And I'd make these mannequins have heart attacks and throw up and all these fun things that they have to deal with like it was a real patient. And we'd have like students crying over a mannequin, like they couldn't deal with it, but it's because we were, it was the whole No Child Left Behind thing where they're saying, no, you're okay. Even though you failed completely in your class, we're going to push you through. We're going to allow you to do this. And then they get to college and they can't deal socially. They can't deal with the education itself. They don't have the mental capacity to understand what they're dealing with. And it just blew my mind how many people would come through a course that would just get so emotionally wrecked by something that you look at as a tool and not something that's real life. And they can't separate that. And it's because we just give everybody a medal. Everybody's a participant.
Yeah.
So we can't tell people that, you know what, you should actually be a janitor. That's going to be the best thing for you in your life. Which, I mean, I'm not saying that a custodian is a bad thing, but that is something that is what that person should be doing. That's more than mental capacity. That might make them happiest, rather than saying, listen, you're going to struggle for 6 years and pay for medical school and get through it and kill somebody because you're a doctor and they said you get an achievement for existing through school and giving us money.
Well,
and that happens a lot, and that's just
and it happens in every field too. I mean, like, let's be real. How many like art schools and stuff are doing similar things where like the kids can't handle like the situation or whatnot,
dude,
and you realize that there's probably something that they could better focus on or move towards, but they don't because they see it as this paycheck of bring the kids to school,
this, like,
put them through
illusion
school,
of grandeur, and then like this awful like feeling like, oh, I'm a loser if I work at a grocery store.
No.
It's like, no, you're not. Like, for one, grocery stores are things that we will always need. So people will always have to work them, and it doesn't mean you're a loser to be working in. I hate how people are always like, oh, that guy just flips burgers. Fuck you, asshole! You just bought that burger.
That was your loss.
You're a doctor who just bought my burger that I just flipped. I made something that you wanted.
Yeah, these guys are people trying to make a wage and a living, and maybe they didn't have a dream that you did it, but maybe they do hate that job. Who knows? But it's not our place to judge. All we know is we need that service. Otherwise, we're not getting that burger when we want it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just unrealistic, and but it all also goes right back to that snowflake thing. Like, you need to do something good with your life. Go to school, get an education. Oh, fuck
Mom.
you.
No.
Well, I also, have a huge amount of respect for anyone that has to work 2 jobs, or any couple that has, any man and wife, and the wife has to work as well. Like in the olden days, it's like, oh yeah, you just provide for your wife or whatever. Nowadays, a more modern couple is like they both work because they kind of have to. Like, just the way the economy is. Like,
well,
and so
this goes even deeper into like, like class-wise, like problems we have there. Because before it was it's okay, like a guy could go out and function and make enough to fund his whole family, to be fine, and he could do it.
60 grand.
Yeah, but now like both parents are working 2 jobs each, and they still can't afford to live in a house and pay for their kids like clothes.
So I think how is this double-sided problem though? The first part of it's going to make me sound sexist. And I don't mean it in a sexist way. I think women should be able to work in the workplace. But as soon as women went and got the equal rights and they're going into the workplace, now society can be like, oh, okay, well, there's 2 incomes now. So houses can cost twice as much. And your bills can be twice as much as they were because you've got all that money coming in. And realistically, that's not what it should be. 1 income should be able to pay for a house because 1 parent should be at home. So we have somebody like raising these kids, and you realize what a shithead your bully kid is. You beat the hell out of him and
do something about it.
Now the second part of that problem, where people are having to work 4 jobs, is because people don't know how to stop spending money. Just because you saw Tom down the street got a 73-inch TV does not mean you need one. But it's our capitalist society that's like, no, I mean, I need that DVD, I need that, I need that nice couch and that big truck, and people live outside of their means all the time. And it's just kind of sad to think, like, somebody's in debt, and the asshole is going to go and buy, like, 3 action figures for his kids that his kids don't need. Imagination's a fucking awesome thing.
That should be on a shirt somewhere. That, and then on the back, the snowflake shit thing.
I saw it all the time in GameStop. When I first got here, I started working in GameStop. I just got my tuition through, and someone came in with a student ID, and spent like $600 on consoles and games and stuff.
Yeah.
On their student ID. So I knew for a fact that it was tuition money because I just got mine. And I was like, well, I'm using that for books, and then I'm putting the rest back on my loan. Like, I'm not an idiot. Like,
Strategy guide books, right? Not textbooks, no.
yeah. And they just walked out with it, and they were like, I've been waiting for this for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, but you haven't earned it.
You're like, yeah, but in 20 years, you're still going to have a student
you're still
loan.
going to have to pay for that. Like,
Because
it's double.
people told you you can go get stuff now and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, when your house gets repossessed, you're going to be worrying about it. You know, when you can't go out and buy dinner because your credit cards are full and all this other junk.
Yeah.
It's insane, the society that we're raising right now. And it just blows my mind watching those. I mean, right now, the studio is based in a school. I see a lot of students. I see who should be in certain programs and who should probably look at other programs, but they don't because they're told that, no, it's okay for you to be in this program. When really, like, dude, you should focus on your stronger skills, and your stronger skill set is not that program.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, it's okay to, again, not have an ego and take criticism. And really, if you understand how to take criticism, you can strive and grow and do amazing things well within your skill sets. And you can grow into something huge, whether it is, you know, doing animation, whether it is you decide that that's not your thing, and maybe you're a salesperson. Maybe you're whatever it is, but understanding your skill set and not being afraid to look inward. And that's something that people don't do anymore, is look at themselves and really understand themselves for who they are, and go for something that makes sense for them as a person, makes them happy, rather than, no, I was told I need to go to college. No, I want to do art, even though it might not be my thing. That's what I'm going to go for now.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy how we coddle people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and like that thing that you just said about, you know, we never really look at ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
It's because we seriously are so inundated. Like, think about when I first started talking about the rating system. I woke up and what did I do? I picked up my phone because I'm not going to have a quiet moment to myself to reflect on the day I just had, the day I'm going to have. I'm fucking looking for, wonder what Sally said about World of Warcraft.
Just
It's like, maybe I should unplug for a minute and not be such a jackass walking around not knowing what's going on with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's funny that we started with the rating systems and we went into
Oh,
how many shit
There's a lot of
kids are.
Kids these days. Geopolitics, sex, drugs, everything. We're all over the bank here, but
We set the world to right.
we set the world right.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think that was a fun conversation, though. You know, I'm sure, honestly, that gamut of subjects is something that we can talk about quite a bit.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, there's that, like, you could easily follow that thread right through that conversation,
Oh, yeah.
and how it makes sense all the way through. Like, it's,
Yeah,
it's
but we also have to understand, like, there's always going to be people that disagree, and luckily we're all like-minded enough to be like, well, this is, you know, what
Well, it's because you guys have taken the brainwashing method.
Yeah.
You
Thanks for
guys
bringing
think
us our
sin
field.
is supposed to be fun? It's the devil tricking you.
There'll be trouble down here in Salt Lake City.
Wow. I didn't know we were
So,
going to go that far. We're doing musicals.
Music man.
Where's that shark?
Where
is it?
A while ago.
Whose biography are we doing next week?
Ooh.
Scotty boy.
All right.
Are you going to bring the box you were born in?
Look forward to. Yeah,
You showing
I'll bring my boarding box.
You're born.
It's a pizza box.
It's the family
We'll never
boarding
see it,
box.
so-
When he said he was in a box for 13 years, I literally thought of him standing up in a box with a hole on his butt.
God. Okay, I'm not gonna bring the boarding box, but all right.
Cool. Well, hey, I'm glad we're back. We'll be posting some more stuff on the Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that fun stuff, so follow us there.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
As always.
But don't be jerks.
No, you can be jerks. It's fun. We don't mind.
Yeah, once
Alright.
we get haters, we made it.
Is that how it is?
That's what I heard.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for watching and listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.